Okay, okay.
Okay, you're all
Okay,
set.
so hi, my name's Kimberly. Thank you so much for taking time to interview me. I'll give
Yes.
some background about myself. So I went to UC Berkeley and I graduated in 2020 with a degree in economics and a minor in data science. I would say that helped me get to my current role. But I would say like the main part of my like education that really helped me was my certification in accounting that I did at UC Berkeley. Okay,
Awesome.
so currently, how I got to Amazon was I joined like right out of university. I joined this program called the Amazon Finance Rotational Program, and essentially that is like a 2-year university program, a post university program, in which really new people to like working, they could kind of learn like what they like, what they don't like through this rotational program. So,
Mm-hmm.
just like brief background on this program, there's 4 different tracks in this. There is accounting track where you rotate in that accounting department, and then there's business unit finance where you can rotate there, operations finance, and treasury. I joined the accounting track, so I did my rotations in accounting.
Awesome. So was this like a opportunity, like those internship days opportunities where like they come on college?
Um, yeah, so it's not really like it sounds like an internship, but it's not really like an internship. You are a full-time employee. However, I would say it's very different versus joining like a different company because you get to like change teams without like applying, like you just get matched into teams
Mhm.
every 6 months for the first year, and then the second year is a 1-year rotation.
That's really cool. So do
Yeah,
you get
sorry,
to
it's a
join
little
all?
complicated. Yeah.
It's like, wait, so you rotated through every role by now, probably?
No, not really. So there are like four tracks, and I guess I can provide like more background. So since I did the accounting track, I actually just rotated within the accounting department, but I focused on like different functions in accounting. So
Mhm.
the primary functions of accounting at Amazon could be focusing on a particular business or focusing more on the corporate side, which is preparing like the 10Q or 10K financial statements that Amazon releases every quarter. And then there's also another one where it's more like it's kind of more technical, where you get to work on the accounting systems.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you talked about the certification, was that I believe it's called a CPA?
This one's more of like just like learning like
Awesome.
about
Okay.
accounting because we don't have an accounting degree at Berkeley. So in the
Yeah.
summer you take like 20 units, if I'm not mistaken, of accounting classes, and then it pretty much will give you requirements to take your CPA in the future, which I'm currently working on.
Cool. Um, I guess like I like a little straight from number two, but like, um, does the is financial analyst more like financial accounting? Is that what it like behind it is?
Yes, for my role specifically, I'll give you some background on like the other tracks. Yeah, so I probably should have started with that.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, so mine is more like the accounting aspect of finance, and then for business unit finance, this is more of like focusing on either FP&A or business unit finance. So you're focusing more on like forward-looking items, so like forecasting
Mm-hmm.
for a particular business or like for your particular like department. And for operations finance, that one is more towards like focusing on the budgeting for a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And treasury is all about risk and the cash and the banks. So very different lines of finances.
Very, very different.
Hmm.
Bunch of different jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
personally taken financial accounting myself, and I was like, Maybe
Yeah,
it's just
I
yeah. So I guess we can move to three. So what does a typical day look like for you?
yeah. So my current team that I'm on the Alexa accounting team. So I my team's very different from other accounting teams in that it's kind of like a startup. So every product or feature that we're working on, it's like something new that our entire Amazon has not ever seen before. Um, so we work on like new product launches, new feature launches, as well as ensure like the rest of the department that our financial record keeping is compliant with US accounting standards. Um, sorry, just background. And then for day to day, I typically like to start my day with coffee and then um, reviewing my emails while I drink my coffee. And then after that, I try to like figure out like when do my meetings start. Typically, my meetings start in the morning since I work with people from either like Asia, Europe, or East Coast. So those are typically in the morning to accommodate time zones. And after my meetings, I go to lunch, and then I try to work on like my action items or like other like high priority tasks that I have for the day. Mhm.
Awesome. Is this like a on-site, not an on-site location, but do you move around for it?
Like travel.
Yeah.
I don't travel since I actually am working in like a smaller office in LA for Amazon, but I know members of my team do travel, so some of them do go to like New York, some of them go to London. And I know since I work on Alexa, which is part of devices, a lot of them actually go to this office in Sunnyvale. That's where our main device hub is at.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love the coffee. Very unique
of
answer.
course,
I've,
of
I've
course.
I've heard I just started the day with meetings and then more meetings. But yeah. Um, so four, what skills or qualifications with a soft skill focus do you think are essential for someone in your position?
Mhm. I would say in terms of soft skills, I would say willingness to learn. When I first started, I honestly didn't know anything. But you definitely learn on the job. So I would say that's definitely something for me. And then another thing that I think is really important is knowing really good communication skills. So in my role, we also do like a lot of like doc writing and emails. And you just want to make sure you can get your point across in a very succinct and crisp manner to your audience. Mhm.
And your audience is mostly um
It's mostly internal.
yeah.
Yes. It's either like business PMs, product managers, our finance like forecasting team, or even our leadership above me in accounting. Mhm.
Great. So what are some of the biggest challenges you face in your role?
Um, it's a good question. I would say definitely, definitely a lot of meetings. Sometimes there's days where I think I have meetings straight from 8 to 5 p.m. and then I realize like, oh wow, I don't have time to work on my actual stuff. So
Mhm.
definitely time, but I'm actually like working on mitigating this issue by trying to learn how to prioritize and learn which meetings to go to, which ones I don't
Mhm.
need to go to. Mhm.
If
On the other
wait.
side, oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was like, is there echo or
Oh,
something?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's like more of like a general like challenge, but I would say one of the main challenges that we have or I have in my role is that since it is working on like very net new like products, sometimes learning what accounting treatments to apply for these products or like how to get revenue or how to recognize revenue is like very challenging because it's very new, so it requires a lot of like consultation with like other accountants and even maybe our like audit firms, but most of the time just other accountants in the department.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you don't do any of like the internal auditing.
No, that's a whole different field.
Too many. Yes, yeah. Next question. What do you find most fulfilling in your work?
For me, I would say like since I'm working on Alexa, I really like the fact that you can kind of it's very like tangible.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked how like whenever I'm working on like new features or even like new products or new like contracts that we have with third party vendors, you can kind of see it from a end customer perspective. So I can give you like a quick example. I don't know if you actually have an Echo device, but if you do, um, you can ask your Echo device, like, hey, like, what's the weather today? And that's something that my team and like other teams are working on in the background is like content ingestion into these Echo devices. And we work with third parties. So after like deals are signed and we have all the content ingested, I would say it's like kind of interesting to be like, wow, like I worked on this like new thing um, from start to finish, and you can kind of see it from both ends.
Yeah, and it's usually the software or is it the hardware for the new generations?
So I would say my role is more focused on like the kind of like the software side. I did do a rotation on the device hardware side, so if you have any
Oh,
questions on that, let me know.
it sounds really fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like really awesome when you're like seeing the product that you and your team made yourself, and I'm like, it's just crazy to think about if you think about how many like rooms it's in, right?
Definitely.
7. So, how would you describe the work culture at your company?
Yeah, I would say it's very fast paced. Kind of like what I was saying, it's kind of like a startup in a
Mm,
sense, even though it's such a big company. A lot of new things that we're working on, and I always tell people whenever they're onboarding, like, yeah, 6 months is probably equivalent to like 18 months at another company because everything's just moving so fast. And
mhm.
maybe one day, like today, you'll have a new idea, and then tomorrow it'll get rejected, and then the next day you'll have even another idea that someone comes up with.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I know, like I said, I worked in the accounting, the LA office. So
Mhm.
that office is actually very different from the rest of from headquarters. So I used to work in Seattle as well. The LA office is more geared towards like Prime Video and the production of like those type of content. And since I do sit in that office, I would say it's very interesting to kind of see like, hey, like they're filming something new or like they're working on like something that's super cool because I work in that office. So I would say that's very, very, very different than
Oh,
the Seattle offices for sure.
awesome. So, was there like production on site within the building itself?
You can kind of see it from far away from my building, from like where they're
So,
actually filming, but obviously like I can't tell you what they're filming because it is still in the works.
yes. Um, yeah, unfortunate. Are there
Mhm.
any specific tools or technologies that you rely on your work?
For me, definitely Excel since I work in a more
Mhm.
finance related role. Um, and this other tool I also work on is called Alteryx. I don't know if you've ever heard of that tool. So it's like a tool in which you can build workflows to kind of automate things that you're doing. In my role, I typically use Alteryx to automate like lots of data, like manipulation and like transformation, so I can better understand like what are trends that we're looking at month over month, or what kind of journal entries you want to book, etc.
Mhm. That just reminded me of something. Um,
Yeah.
I remember like little bits of my accounting class, even though it was like a month ago.
Okay.
Do you do you
Yeah.
like
Go ahead.
foreshadow? Do you foreshadow the revenue that's coming in? Is that like
Like forecast. No. The forecasting side is coming from our business unit finance team. So they're the ones who like focus on forecasting. They have like 3 different cycles in which they would do like a first round of forecasting, and then they'll do like a Q3 forecasting cycle, and then they also do like another one to say like, okay, now I know like what the business is looking like. Let's do another one to kind of fix it.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting.
What advice would you give to someone looking to enter this field?
I would say for you, since you're still really young, like I know that a lot of people say that like, yeah, accounting is kind of boring, and I'm like, yeah, like sometimes it can be. But I would say it's getting like very it's definitely like transforming due to like AI. So I would definitely say that like learning about AI is definitely helpful if you're like very interested in this field. Um, and I would also say that in terms of like soft skills, like as long as you have like a willingness to learn, you can definitely just learn everything on the job. So
That reminds me. I hope my professors don't find this, but ChatGPT was really good at doing my homework and explaining it.
oh yeah. There's definitely like a lot of tools out there that can definitely help you in your day to day. So I totally understand.
Okay. Are there any like common misconceptions about your job or industry?
Kind of like what I was saying earlier. So I know my title is like financial analyst, but it's just like very weird because I entered through like this rotational program. It's not very common for most people to enter through that program. Most of them typically they have experience and they enter from either another company or like another like public accounting firm. So that's definitely a common misconception my my job role. And then in terms of industry, I would just say like it's changing a lot. It's evolving like every day. So I know that sometimes my family members, whenever I say I work at Amazon, they're like, "Hey Kim, like my package didn't come in today. Like, can you help me?" And I'm like, I could try, but I would have to direct you to customer service. So um, I would say that's definitely another really common one
Yeah.
I see.
Actually, I did an interview with the Amazon product manager, and she was
Okay.
located in Japan.
Oh,
And so
that's
like the
cool.
packages thing was like her forte, and I'm like, okay,
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
But yeah.
Nice.
But
Yeah, a lot of
was
different
this,
roles.
yeah, a lot of roles. Was this
Mhm.
your first job out of university?
This is my first job out of university. However, I did an internship at a public accounting firm, and I did a focus on tax,
Yeah.
private
And
equity tax to be particular.
that sounds hard. For
Yeah.
like just like kind of just curious myself, how do you
Mhm.
get these like certifications through your school?
Yeah, so this was kind of like more they call it a certification, but it's honestly more of like a summer
Mm-hmm.
school, in my opinion. I found out about this program at Berkeley through like word of mouth through my other friend who did it. I would also definitely recommend that when you do go to university, or yeah, you're not in university, yeah, when you do go
Wow.
to university or college, definitely go to like your career center or your or even like the business school if you're still interested in that. And
Mm-hmm.
they'll definitely tell you about like these opportunities. Um, there's always going to be like a whole bunch of like summer ones or ones in like very particular fields that you're very interested in. I know there's another program at Berkeley that other students from other schools also like attend in the summer where they can just learn about like the basics of business and get like a certification from Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would say also like my summer school program, there's a lot of students from other UCs and also like other schools in the US. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Good info to know.
Yeah.
I think last question. Can you recommend any resources for someone interested in this field?
Uh, If you're interested in accounting, I would say definitely take your accounting courses. You can check out like the CPA exam if you're interested in that. If you want to go into a more like PM role within finance, definitely check out the PMP certification. We do have a lot of accounting PMs in our department as well. Um, and if you're more interested in like the tech automation side related to finance, I would say PMP would definitely be helpful, and also like maybe knowing Python. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. For AI
Mhm.
purposes.
It's more for like automation
Oh,
purposes, for like workflow
oh yeah, yeah.
things.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think accounting is a growing industry right now?
I would say it's. I don't know if it's growing, honestly, but I would say it's a very stable career, and once you learn accounting, you can honestly go into like any other branch of finance, such as the ones that I talked about earlier.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
I'm gonna end the interview here.